So friends, let's see today's 3 recipes which have no ginger, garlic or onion at all. First is the very simple Tendli bhaji, then is the Gavar bhaji or the castor beans, and then there is Valpapdi or flat beans. So friends, let's start with today's simple yet delicious Tendli bhaji, which is also called ivy gourd in English. So here I've taken about 200 grams, washed them really well, wipe them dry, and now I'm going to cut off the ends like this. You can also soak the tendli in some water to which you add some salt and keep it for about 5-10 minutes. Rinse out all the dirt and grime, rinse it well again under clean water. This is about 250 grams of tendli, and then I'm going to slice it really thin into rounds like this. This way it will cook also very well. Now this amount is enough for 4 people because you cut it very fine, so the quantity does increase. Now when you're cutting the tendli and if you find that it's red or pink, please discard it. You should not eat tendli which has become yellow, pink or red. It has to be white, light green in color like this. So now everything is ready. Let's start with the recipe. This takes a little bit of time, say about 5 to 10 minutes. And I'm going to use 1.5 tablespoons of oil. And we're going to use these lovely Indian spices. Once the oil is hot, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of mustard. Let the mustard splutter really well. Then we're going to add half a teaspoon of cumin seeds or jeera, followed by half a teaspoon of asafoetida or hinga, and half a teaspoon of haldi powder or turmeric. So this is our basic fodni that we use for most of the bhajis. Now I'm just going to add up our sliced up ivy gourd or tendli. Some people call it tondli. So mix everything really well. Coat all of this tondli with this lovely fodni. Fry it a little in the oil. We're using a little extra oil because we want to really get it nicely cooked. Now I'm going to cover it with a flat lid and I'm going to pour some water on it. So what will happen is, this water heats up, and with that steam it helps to cook this tondli very, very well. And we are going to add a little of this water. So use drinking water. We're going to use half of that water, pour it back into the tondli so that it helps it to cook faster. Since the water has become nice and hot on the lid, you just empty it into half of it into the, and after some time you will see that most of the water has already evaporated, and you can add that too. And now we're going to mix everything well. This bhaji, on the total amount of time that it took to cook was about 15 minutes. And of course the cutting took about 5 minutes. So in total about 20 minutes you'll get this ready. Now I'm going to add some salt to taste. I like to use Himalayan pink salt. And now this will help when you add the salt. It helps even, to cook the bhaji even quicker. So now you can see that most of the liquid has evaporated. Now we're going to add 1 teaspoon of red chili powder. If you want, you can add only half a teaspoon. Next we're going to add 2 teaspoons, or sometimes I like to add even 4 teaspoons of goda masala. Then I like to add 2 teaspoons of jaggery or jaggery or gourd. And this is homemade goda masala. I'll leave a link of how I prepare it at home. You can also buy it. Nowadays it is very easily available under different brand names in all supermarkets. Mix everything well, and we're going to cook this till all of the gourd or the jaggery or the gourd completely gets mixed with the bhaji. So again you're going to cover and cook this on a very low flame for about 2 to 3 minutes, checking in between. Keep stirring it in between. Now you can dry up the entire liquid, but I like to keep a little bit of the gravy because it has all the lovely flavors, the sweet, the spicy, the flavors of all the masalas that go in the goda masala. And I'm just going to add about a tablespoon of freshly grated coconut. You can add this or you can skip it, but it enhances the flavor of the dish. And that's it, guys. Turn off the heat and your lovely tendli or tondli or ivy gourd bhaji is all ready to enjoy. This goes best with some puris or garam chapati, some rice and dal. Enjoy this recipe, guys. for joining me today. So today's recipe is a very simple gavarachi bhaji recipe or cluster bean bhaji. It doesn't have any onion in it or garlic, ginger, chilies, nothing. It's just super simple and gets ready also pretty quickly, and it's really delicious. So let's just jump straight ahead into today's lovely recipe. So friends, let's start with today's delicious gavarachi bhaji recipe or cluster bean recipe. So here I've taken 200 grams of gavar, taken off the ends, and then with my hands itself I've just broken them up into half-inch pieces like this. And then I'm going to soak them in water for about 10 minutes and then give them a thorough rinse and keep them in a sieve or sift. Now I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of oil to a pan. And once the oil is nice and hot, we are going to add 1 teaspoon of mustard seeds or mohri or rye. So this is a half teaspoon that I'm using. So I'm using 2 of them. That makes 1 teaspoon. Next goes in half a teaspoon of cumin seeds or jeera, half a teaspoon of asafoetida or hing, and half a teaspoon of turmeric powder or haldi. So this recipe doesn't have any kind of, no onions, no ginger, no garlic, no green chilies, just a very simple recipe. And now I'm going to add the gavar, which I rinsed really well and kept it in a sieve for about 5 minutes. Now watch the video till the end because I'll give you a little bit of tips on how to buy gavar when you're buying this cluster beans. Now mix the gavar really well with the oil and all the ingredients so that it flavors the gavar really nicely. And now this vegetable is enough for 4 people. If you want more, then you can double all the ingredients. And now we're going to add salt to taste. Now the reason I'm adding salt right now is because it helps to cook the gavar to the right consistency. And it even flavors the gavar really well. So we add we add salt at this point, not at the end. Like in some vegetables, when we are cooking them, we add salt later on, but for gavar, we add it first. And now I'm just going to put a plate on top of it, and I'm going to add some water to the plate. And our flame is going to be on low. And we're going to keep this for about 5 minutes without stirring. After 5 minutes, you will see that there are some bubbles on top of the lid. Now what you're going to do is you're going to lift up the lid extremely carefully, and you're going to put in about half of the water from the lid into the gavar and mix it well. So this will cook the gavar really well, and it won't be rough, and it won't be tough on to eat. It'll get cooked really nicely. And now we're going to keep this again for about another 2 to 3 minutes, and all of the water has evaporated. And now we're just going to season it with some other few ingredients. So now I'm going to add a little bit of a few ingredients. I'll just take you through them. So first goes in 1 teaspoon of red chili powder. Next, I'm going to add about 2 teaspoons of goda masala or kala masala. Now this is homemade goda masala or kala masala. So I'll leave a link to the recipe of how I make it. It's very simple. And now mix all of this really nicely together. Now you can see there's a little bit of liquid or water remaining. Most of it has evaporated. And now I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of jaggery or ghul, grated jaggery or ghul, and mix everything nicely together. And now we're just going to cover it and keep it for just about 1 minute. And that's it, guys. Now all you have to do is just add some lovely fresh grated coconut, about a teaspoon or so, and mix it in well. And the coconut is also optional. If you don't want to add the coconut, you can leave it out. And now mix everything well together, and your gavar bhaji is all ready. This is one of my favorite vegetables. A really easy recipe. Now for my homemade goda masala, which I make and I store and it lasts me for about 4 to 5 months. I'll leave the recipe down in the description box. It's very simple and it gets ready also pretty quickly. Now when you're choosing your cluster beans or your gavar, there are certain things that you need to keep in mind. First of all, they should be very light green in color, not a very dark green in color. Also, they should be very firm when you touch them. They shouldn't be soft. They shouldn't have gone, discolored, have any blackish tinge in them. But they should look nice and firm And sometimes if the vendor allows you, the vegetable vendor, you can take one of them and just break them, and you should get that click sound. It should not be a soft sound. So these are the things you need to keep in mind, that go for the more lighter green color gavar. They should be nice and firm. They should not look soft. They should not have any blackish tinge in them. And those are the key points you need to keep in mind when you're buying gavar. So that's it for today's video. I'll join you in my next video sooner than you think. This is Akshata signing off. Take care, guys. Bye. So friends, let's see this delicious and healthy recipe of ghevdyachi bhaji. Now I'm going to show you how to clean it. So you have to take off the tips, as I'll show you, and you will see this string kind of thing coming off. So do that at both ends. So don't wash the gevda first. First we're going to clean it. Now just pop it open like this, like you would with a green pea or matar. Check the beans inside. If they are soft or if they look rotten, then just get rid of them, and then just tear the with your fingers, just tear the gevda into these small pieces like this. Now you may encounter strings more than once, so that's why it's preferable to do it by hand rather than using the knife. So do get rid of the strings, do otherwise when you're eating the vegetable, it will really create havoc. So check for the inside, that the beans are good inside. And yes, friends, you do encounter a little bit of vegetable worms inside, so get rid of those also. I'll show you after when I finish cleaning. I'll just show you what you should not be using and what you should get rid of. So then with your hands, just stir it, because every time you might get the string or you might not get the string. So this is a real healthy vegetable, and which you can include in your diet. It has many health benefits, like all green veggies do. So while I was cleaning, the ones over here luckily were all very good, but I just had about 2 or 3 which had a little bit of rotten beans inside. Some of them did have vegetable worms, about just 1 or 2, so I had to throw those out, but I will show you what you should get rid of. So now I'll show you what this is the end result. I've just cleaned it up. So now if you find something looking like this, which is rotten, which has a grayish or a brownish effect inside, but the beans are very soft and mushy, or they look really old and dried up like this, or they have like a very soft grayish texture, then get rid of that. Luckily I had a good the whole thing was nice, just a few of them. Now I've taken some water in a large bowl. I've added a little bit of salt to it, and I'm just going to add this vegetable to it, and I'm going to soak it for about 15 minutes. It's very, very important that you clean your veggies very, very well. Now some vegetables you have to clean, soak them first and then clean them, and some you have to clean first and then soak them. So it all depends. But I have explained in all of my videos as to what is the process. So let it soak for about 15 minutes in this water to which salt has been added. And then I'm going to just take a colander which I've placed on top of a vessel. And I'm just going to drain all of this, or just lift it up like that and put it over there. And again, I'm going to run it through some running water, that is through the colander itself, through my running water in my wash basin of my kitchen, or my kitchen sink rather. Again, I'm going to rinse it really, really well. So this is how you prep your gevda, and the recipe is very simple. So once you have finished prepping, you can always do this a day ahead also. So now I've just heated up a pan on a low flame. To that I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon of oil. Now once the oil is nice and hot, we're going to add our other ingredients, our 40 or tadka ingredients, which is half a teaspoon of mustard seeds or mohri or rye. Let them splutter well. When they begin to splutter, you're going to add half a teaspoon of cumin seeds or jeera. Next, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of asafoetida or hinga and half a teaspoon of turmeric or haldi powder. So for those of you watching most of my recipes, you know that the simple vegetables, especially the Maharashtrian way of making it, just requires these few ingredients for the fooding. So now mix everything really well in the oil, and you're going to add your cleaned up gouda to it or flat beans, and you're going to mix everything really well together. So mix everything well so that the vegetable nicely get coated with the fodni or the bagar. Now this vegetable can be had with some puris or chapatis or some dal, rice. I mean anything. It's just a an accompaniment to any nice meal. And now what we're going to do is we're going to cover it with a lid, and we're going to put a little bit of water to the lid. Now if you're using a leather, the glass lids with the handle that we generally have at home, you can just cover it with a lid. You don't need to add any water initially. Now every 3 minutes, just stir it in between. Carefully lift the lid. Just stir it in between every 3 minutes and add a little bit of the water, because the water has now become hot. So you can add a little bit of the water so it helps the vegetable to cook. So if you're using a cover with a lid, a glass cover with a handle, just add a little bit of warm water or just sprinkle a little bit of warm water on top, so that helps the vegetable cook. So just do this for about 8 to 10 minutes till the gouda is nice and cooked. It takes about 8 to 10 minutes on a low flame. Never cook on a high or flame, always cook on a low flame so the vegetable gets nicely cooked. Now you can see that the gouda is nicely cooked. It becomes a darker green color when it's cooked. So now we're going to add all the lovely seasonings. So I'm going to start by adding salt to taste. Now always add a little salt initially, otherwise then you can always add the salt later after you've tasted it. Never add too much salt, because very salty food is not good for health and nobody likes to eat extra salty food. Now I'm just going to add half a teaspoon of red chili powder. Then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of goda masala or kala masala. I have my homemade goda masala recipe. I'll leave it in the link below. If I forget to do so, just type goda masala Akshata's recipes in the YouTube search button and you will find it. That's the easiest way to find my recipes. Just type the recipe. Like you're looking for upma, just say upma Akshata's recipes and mine will pop up. So now I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of ghee or jaggery. If you're not used to using ghee or jaggery, you can even add a pinch of sugar. A little sweetness, elevates the flavor of this dish. And we're just going to cook everything for another 2 minutes till everything really comes together nicely. Now you could add some grated coconut also for garnish, but I didn't want to add it. I just like to have it plain like this. And your ghevda bhaji is all ready, guys. So I hope you will try out this recipe and do leave your comments in the comment section below. I'll catch you in my next video. Take care. Bye. I hope you liked today's recipe as well as today's video, and if you would like to see more videos like this, then don't forget to leave this video a big thumbs up. Also by clicking the thumbs up icon. Also don't forget to subscribe to my channel and become a part of Akshata's recipes. Once you have subscribed, there is a small little bell icon that will pop up, so just click on that. That way whenever I put up a new recipe or a new video, you get a message for the same. So on that note, I'll say bye and I'll catch you in my next video sooner than you think. This is Akshata saying bye, take care, stay healthy, stay fit, be kind and loving to one another. So till we meet again, bye.